Hello everyone and welcome to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I am an airline pilot, and in today's video we are going to fly the HondaJet once again. So let's start with a couple basics. Why did I pick the route and why did I pick the aircraft? First of all, simply because I like the HondaJet. Second of all, we are flying from Düsseldorf, and Düsseldorf is actually running a noon to midnight event on VATSIM, which means that full air traffic control service is provided from noon, 12 o'clock, until midnight, 12 o'clock. And for the destination, well, I like London City. Right, so with all of that said, let's actually get started here and let's try making our way towards our destination. HondaJet, as you know, is not the most complex of all aircraft, so don't expect too many issues there today. In the meantime, I'm just pre-filing my flight here. Perfect preparation once again, as usual. Right, so flight plan's pre-filed, now we can go. And now we start hearing the error messages from VATSIM traffic popping up, or not. Right, so let's power the aircraft up. Luckily the HondaJet is doing pretty much everything all on its own. By the way, if you in the meantime hear a little bit of wind sound, the temperature is currently 37 degrees where I live, so occasionally I just need to put that radiator on, okay? I apologize for that in advance. Alright, Red Thread, hello, welcome to the party. Okay, so the operational flight plan says we basically have a little bit of weather in London City. Winds are slightly gusting in light rain, but that's all within all limits. At our alternate Stansted at Lilworth, heavy showers of rain with a visibility of 6,000 meters expected from 20 UTC onwards, but we will arrive well ahead of that. Nonetheless, let's just go with half an hour extra, because we want to make sure that we actually get our passengers to our destination. So half an hour in the HondaJet is roughly 300 pounds of fuel. So we'll go with 2,100 pounds of fuel. And we have 3 passengers today. Leads us to the initialization. The aircraft can do the tests all by its own. In the meantime, we get all our data right from the simulator. Alright, our routing is leading us from Echo Delta Delta Lima, and we will depart runway 23 left on the It is NATAX 5 Tango, and it's going to be load airway. We're going over Zulu 282 dBA, not the longest voyage I've seen, and then Lima 179 to Caget. And from Caget it's Lima 608 Sumum. Load airway. So, arrival. Well, makes sense if you add the destination airport first. Is Echo Golf Lima Charlie, London City Airport. And we'll take the Summon Charlie arrival. That's leading us towards Jacko. And runway 27 it will be today. And then for the arrival we have the ILS 27 out of Jacko. Load. Alright, perfect. So, that is pretty much our FMC setup complete here. That's what I just love about the HondaJet. It's so easy to fly. There are so little things you actually need to do in this aircraft. So, for the Pfd settings, we want our bearings on, we want our altitude units in hectopascals, the AOA indicator can stay on, and we'll take the wind option number 3. And the active nav source is going to be the FMS. So with that complete, let's go into the checklist and do the before starting engines checklist. Batteries on, oxygen checked, on and normal, pressurization normal, electrical on and normal, ELT normal, nose wheel steering normal, landing gear down, alternate gear release handle is stowed, park and brake. Yeah, we can set that one. Set, flaps, up, thrust levers, in cutoff, speed brake, retracted, ice protection, normal and off. So, fuel panel, normal, trim panel, checked, set and normal, windshield heat panel, it's down here. Also normal, pneumatic panel, normal, glare shield panel, is dark, chime, normal, avionic initialization complete. Before starting engines checklist complete. That's exactly what I told you guys. I just love the HondaJet for its simplicity. Alright, by the way, looking at some of those comments. Giza JT, I'm thinking of buying the PMDG but not fulfilling the recommended requirements. Other aircraft like the CRJ are performing fine. What do you think? I think that it should be good. On my personal system, the 737 is performing around about the same as the CRJ. So, of course, that is not a promise, not a guarantee. If anything is going wrong, the PMDG support is likely going to tell you you don't fulfill the requirements, so nothing we can do. But nonetheless, on my personal system, the 737 runs about as good as the CRJ. Okay, and ungrounded pilot. I haven't tried that particular arrival in Las Vegas, but so far I didn't have problems building the flight plan. And Felipe, yes, VNAV is implemented. It's a very basic VNAV, I have to say, but there is something there. That's good already. Okay, in the meantime, time to load up the airplane. Let's get the passengers on board. By the way, if you guys are wondering how I'm usually doing the walkarounds, let me show you. So what I do is take the drone camera, reduce the drone speed to about 3 and the drone rotation to about 45-ish. And now, you can see now you got a pretty precise control over it. So let's do our walkaround real quick here. All the probes looking good. Front wheel, no damages, nothing to be found over here. Again, looking at the probes, everything's good over here. External power supply down there. Looking at the front main wheel. No damages or anything visible over here. Wing itself doesn't have damages. The lights are working. Static quick dischargers over here. All working fine. The engine itself is looking good. No visible damages on either side. The refueling hatch is closed. This is our speed brake, by the way. That's stowed, but I still love the speed brake in the aircraft here. It's similar to what you see on the 146, but it keeps your wing clean while adding quite a lot of drag. And I don't know what kind of effect it has on the passengers, so if there is a lot of vibration or anything caused from it, but I probably wouldn't expect a lot of vibration from it, but I don't know. Right, the gear is good. No liquids leaking anywhere. Flaps are looking good. Aileron is good. Static quick dischargers are here. The red lights are working. And that is our walk around complete. Right, time to get back into the flight deck here. Let's actually go ahead with our departure briefing. So, departure chart. That took a bit of time, but here we are. So let's try that once more. No, I don't know why. Here it is, Natex 3 Tango departure. So, threats for the departure then, I do honestly not see too many. So, let's go ahead and perform our route check. We're going from Echo Delta Delta Lima runway 23 left via the Natex 5 Tango departure to Natex Zulu 282 dBA, Lima 179 Caget, Lima 608 Summum for the arrival into London City with a ground distance of 288. I can unfortunately not check the total distance in here, but that's good enough for me right now. Okay, so taxi out is fairly easy. We're parking at the general aviation parking, which is located over here. They're most likely Golf 1, Mike, all the way to Lima 3 intersection. We can even accept Lima 4. Right, that leads us to our departure, which is the Natex departure. Here's the associated chart. So, 10-3 Quebec, transition 5000, remain on tower until passing 2000, then contact Langen radar. And for flights between requested levels 100 till 200, all flights via Zulu 282 dBA, Lima 179 if available. Yeah, so that's exactly what we want to do. Speed max 250 below 100, OS by ATC not applicable with an airspace Charlie. And then initial climb clearance 5000, 5001 pre-selected. And our routing, runway 23 left, is on the runway track Delta Lima 236 above 600 feet. That's 236. That's a right hand turn 279, 13.8 miles inbound to Lima. 296, 297, okay, 13.8 to Lima. And then left 240, 5.3 inbound to Natex, which is what we have in here. And that shall conclude our departure briefing. Any questions? Okay, ungrounded pilot. Yes, I have actually tried an RNAV approach in this one. It worked. Speedbird 612, what's my thoughts about the HondaJet? he feels like floating of the airplane on landing is exaggerated. Well, probably a bit. But then again, I haven't flown a HondaJet, so I can't really tell you how it should behave. But yeah, floating might be a little exaggerated. However, keep in mind that with this kind of airplane, you're not supposed to float until they touch down by themselves, but you're supposed to fly it into the ground. So keep that in mind. Right. Apart from that, Daniele, what do I use to move the drone camera? Yes, I'm using my keyboard. And if you just go for the flight simulator settings and the drone settings, there you will find all the commands how to move the camera around. Warthog AU-24, did you ever discover how to enter landing altitude? No, not yet. An MFS pilot, I'm a first officer. Alright, that concludes more or less the questions I can see right now, so let's actually call the ground and get our startup clearance. Düsseldorf ground, hello, Delta India Tango India Mike, information Foxtrot request startup.
185, contact tower, 183, have a nice flight,
oh, that's not us.
Lufthansa 5, the contact tower, 118, thank you very much, bye bye. Delta India Mike, Düsseldorf ground, hello, information Foxtrot direct, startup, approved, cleared London City by an native flight, Tango departure, flight plan, route camper, set altitude 5,000 feet, squawk 2014.
Delta India Tango India Mike, startup approved, cleared London City, Natex 5 Tango departure, flight plan route, climb by set 5,000 feet, squawk 2014.
Delta India Mike, feedback correct.
So we have got 5,000 feet, squawk 2014, Natex 5 Tango departure, and startup is approved. Then let's close our doors. Turn on the speed box over here, and we want to set the speed to an initial climb here, 130 knots.
Standing by.
Actually, no, this can go all the way up to 210 knots, which is our final climb speed in the HondaJet. Alright.
In 2 minutes, I'm on the Alpha.
So let's quickly put our charts together.
Roger, 8666.
So this is basically my preferred setup for flying the HondaJet. Have the navigation display on the left side and the charts on the right side. I think that works best. Tower frequency pre-selected, number 1 can go 21.5 for the emergency frequency. Okay, so that's pretty much all done. Then let's go ahead with the starting engine checklist. Everything complete, propellers adjusted, 6 seatbelts adjusted and secure, doors. Oops. Come on, here we are, doors closed. Park and brake. Set, cast messages. They are reviewed, it's all related to the engine shutdown. Electricity volts over here, greater than 23.5. And the engine starts. Okay, so, easy going in this one. Start engine number 2. Starter is engaged. Thrust lever to idle. And now the FedEx is doing the complete engine startup for us. Didn't tell you this. Good start number 2, starting 1. And that's 2 good starts. So let's go ahead with the checklist. Engine starts press, engine instruments checked, engine anti-ice off, external power disconnected, flight controls. So, full up, full down, full left, full right, and the rudders left and right. Before taxi checklist. Wing anti-ice off, transponder code 2014 entered, flight ID confirmed, flight plans entered, navigation source, FMS, altimeters 1013, flaps.
Leipzig 8660, traffic in front of you is disconnected, so taxi holding point.
Set for takeoff, speed brakes, standard and retracted. Cabin signs, we'll put them on now.
Mike Lima 1, Leipzig 8666.
And the parking brake will be released in a second, before taxi checks complete. Delta India Tango in your mic, request taxi.
Delta India Mike, taxi holding point runway 23 Golf 1, Mike and Lima 4.
Delta India Mike, taxi holding point runway 23 left, Golf 1, Mike, Lima 4. Right, so that is basically as briefed. We'll go out to the left here, Golf 1, Mike, and all the way to Lima 4 intersection. Cool. Brake released. Clear on the left. Clear on the right. Off we go.
Hello, taxi gate Alpha 02 via Mike and Papa 1. Alpha 02 via Mike and Papa 1.
Right, poor guy, why do you stand right in front of an aircraft here? Well, he will have... My engine will have taught him a lesson. A lesson that he's probably not gonna forget for the rest of his life.
The 173 give way to the light airplane crossing right to left on Mike. Will give way to what on crossing right to left on Mike? The 173, a light airplane, HondaJet 420. A light airplane, 173.
Yeah, that's us. Okay, clear on the right.
Taxi to gate Bravo 09 via Mike, Papa 3, Tango and Papa 4.
Then we are number 1 ESAT.
Boeing 737 passing right to left on Mike, as well as the light airplane passing right to left.
So, taxi checklist. Brakes, checked. Nose wheel steering, checked. Flight instruments, checked. Taxi checklist complete. So, we are number 2 behind him, it seems. And the Eurowings waiting on the left.
And give way to the 2 aircraft passing left to right on Mike. It will be 1 Leipzig Air Boeing 737 and a light aircraft.
I see some of you say that my sound is cutting out from the microphone. How is it going now? Is it any better?
Lufthansa 173, that was the traffic I meant. You can continue taxiing. Continue, thank you. Thank you.
And Speedbird 612, that's the Just Zim Düsseldorf scenery.
That's the 866, contact tower, 118.3, have a nice flight, bye-bye. 1183, Leipzig Air, H666, danke schön Abend.
Okay, before takeoff checklist. Flaps, set for takeoff. Trims, set for takeoff. Speed brake, retracted. CAS messages, reviewed. Navigation, set. Flight guidance, set. Takeoff landing data, confirmed. Takeoff briefing. So, let's review the takeoff briefing. It's going to be a left seat takeoff on runway 2.
Thank you, contact tower, 118.3, have a nice flight, bye-bye.
118.3, Delta India Mike, tschüss. Düsseldorf Tower, schönen guten Abend. Delta India Tango India Mike.
Delta India Tango India Mike, Düsseldorf Tower, good evening.
Alright, so takeoff briefing, let's do it again. It's going to be left seat takeoff, runway 23 left flaps. The takeoff position, noise abatement procedure number 2, and we contact departure when passing 2000. Our sit is going straight out Delta Lima 236, then a right turn out, and we climb to an altitude of 5000 feet. In case of an engine failure, we go straight out 6 miles from Düsseldorf, then a right turn to Lima NDB and pick up the hold over there, climbing 4000. Which is safe above the MSA of 2800 and also inside the transponder mandatory zone over there. Any questions? Okay, then the takeoff briefing is complete, radar off, ice protection off, before takeoff checklist complete. So, next taxiway here is Lima 4. We'll probably have to wait for the Eurowings. Okay, park and brake set.
During 4 Mike Golf, wind 360 degrees 4 knots, runway 23 left, clear for takeoff, bye bye.
Runway 23 left, clear for takeoff, during 4 Mike Golf. Tschüss, viel Spaß noch.
Alright guys, glad to hear that the sound is working again. So this guy is going. Let's see if he's going to line us up next or the Airbus over there.
8666, line up runway 23 left and wait behind.
Oh, the Airbus.
Line up runway 23 left and wait behind.
That's not totally unexpected though, since we are a light jet, we have to get some more separation than the other aircraft type. So if the other guy is going first, that means he needs to apply less separation, and therefore you can get him out much quicker than if he had us going first. So that's understandable tactic by air traffic control.
That's 836, wind 260 degrees 4 knots, runway 23 left, clear for takeoff, bye bye.
Clear for takeoff, 23 left, that's the air 866.
You got it. You can go now, but we will need quite some more.
Line up runway 23 left and wait behind.
Plug in your mic behind departing aircraft, line up from 823 left and wait behind. Alright, so he's going. And then it's our turn now. Yeah. Alright, clear on the right. Aircraft to the left is gone already as well. By the way, the ding-dong sound you're hearing is my V-Pilot message sound. I have replaced the default sound with this one. So that's not coming from the aircraft, that's coming from VATSIM. That's actually the tower controller writing me here. I recognize that voice. 737 NG driver. Well, I feel honored.
Delta India Tango India Mike, wind 010 degrees 8 knots, runway 23 left, clear for takeoff. Bye bye.
Delta India Tango India Mike, runway 23 left, clear for takeoff. Cheers. Okay. Takeoff. So takeoff thrust.
Viewing 27 Lima Romeo, Düsseldorf Tower, good evening.
Takeoff thrust set, indications normal. $80 knots. V1. Rotate.
Viewing 27 Lima Romeo.
Positive rate. Gear up.
Correction, please fly my last.
What's my camera doing here? Thank you. That's the view I want. Flaps up.
Guten Abend, Düsseldorf Tower, correct PCI, left to the left.
Great, 383, Düsseldorf Tower, good evening. Wind 010 degrees 8 knots, runway 23 left.
Max continuous thrust is set.
Runway 2 left, bitte land, correct and clear.
Nav. Level change.
Confirm our plan flight level 310.
Confirm, we can start at 310.
Roger, thank you.
But the initial
Right, 2000.
6, actually, I don't know why, but you have no flight plan. What's your destination?
Destination is Zurich for 8666.
Autopilot on, vertical speed. Angrad low, Delta India Tango India Mike, passing 3500, climb at 5000, NATEX 5 Tango.
Delta India Tango India Mike, Langenradar, good evening, identify.
No further climb, okay. So 1000 feet a minute. Let the speed go up all the way to 50 knots here, then we can climb a little bit faster by the time we actually get our further climb clearance. Okay. In the meantime, after takeoff checklist, landing gear up, yaw damper engaged, flaps up, thrust levers, well, below MCT for now. Flight guidance set, ice protection off, cabin signs on. After takeoff checklist complete.
Delta India Tango India Mike, Langenradar, good evening. Sorry, I had technical problems, and now it looks much better. Delta India Tango India Mike, climb flight level 180.
Delta India Tango India Mike, climb flight level 180. Alright, set. 180 checked. Level change. Now comes the reason I increased the speed earlier on above the optimum climb speed. I'll go to MCT and convert the speed into altitude. Okay, we're past the transition altitude, set standard, and then the climb checklist, pressurization, that's 2.7, climbing and set, and altimeters, standard, climb checklist complete.
Viewing 4 Mike Golf, no further ATC available, monitor Unicom 122.8 show. 122.8, bye-bye. That's Gear 8666, walk 2057.
Oh, hello there in the comments. The regulatory pilot. Thought I recognized that voice, and the 737 just in front of you. Well, hello there. Passing 100, climb 180. Pressurization 4.0, climbing and set. The rest of it is automatic in this airplane, so no need to actually check anything else.
Contact land radar 123.275, bye-bye.
And I'm Eddie. I am using FS Realistic, yes.
Lufthansa 24 Alpha, descent 5,000 feet, QNH 1011.
And a red thread, yes, normally I can see other aircraft on the map. However, they have to be within a certain distance, and most certainly a certain vertical distance. And by the time we got our takeoff clearance, he was past that already. So that's why we didn't see him. Gotta love the sunshades. And yes, just in case you're wondering, I'm still working on convincing PMDG to get me some proper sunshades for the 737.
Choice 24, correction, Choice 270, Mahogio, Langada, good evening, identified, climb. Via set flight level 190.
Flight at 190,
Lufthansa 24 Alpha, turn right 6050. Delta India
Vertical
Tango
speed.
India Mike, no further ATC available, monitor Uniform 122.8, ciao.
122.8, Delta India Tango India Mike, ciao. Alright, I know you guys like hearing some ATC in the background, so I'll just go to the big Langen radar instead of monitoring Unicom. Then you're at least going to hear a little bit of random chatter going on in the background. In the meantime, we have filed for flight level 180 initially, and then later on we have a step climb flight level 240. So let's just go ahead and climb flight level 240 straight away. Alright, flight level change, speed 210 again. It's a little pity that there is no ATC online en route. I was kind of speculating that in London there would be somebody on anyway. And, well, there was a little bit of hope that they might have a Maastricht radar online or something, but I guess you can't be lucky all the time. The good side about that, however, is that we can give ourselves some directs, as there is no ATC online en route. So let's actually go direct to Caget. That's pretty much the direct to London. Small trick here with the G3000, when you're almost on the desired course, just put the direct in again, because it does right now not calculate the turn radius yet, but that's going to come in a future update of the G3000. Stefan, yes, I certainly do like the HondaJet. The simplicity of the plane, while at the same time being a pretty good simulation, is just pretty cool. And all of that adds together, you know, providing an airplane that has some very good performance, like, well, we are flying 210 knots now, but in cruise, the thing is going up to about 400 knots-ish. So that is almost as fast as the big jets, while at the same time we have the capability to get into some of these small airports like London City, like Zamedan, and all these places that you can't go to in the 737, that I just really love going into with this aircraft. That's why I like it. And to be totally fair, I would love a Gulfstream 650 or a Bombardier Global or something like that for our simulator. Fortunately, there is none yet, but the moment there is one, believe me, you are going to see me flying this, and you are going to see me flying this a lot. And if I would like to fly private jets in real life, that depends a little bit on the operator, but there are a couple operators, like for example NetJets, that I would certainly like to fly for. One to go. By the way, you see some slight pitch oscillations here. Don't worry about those. FS Realistic is just really exaggerating the appearance of them. So it's not as bad as it actually looks like it is. And Andrew, good evening. Don't worry about being late, you can still watch it in the replay. And I'm actually doing great. I'm a little hot today. It's currently, well, still 35 degrees outside, so yeah, that is a little bit too warm for my taste. And Mikolai, my opinion on trains. I like trains. Or I hope you know that meme, because I don't actually like trains. I don't know. You know, there is a day at which, at some point, every pilot or every kid, they say, is interested in trains, planes and ships. For me, I've never been interested in planes, but definitely... did I just say in planes? Okay, shoot me. It's too hot, I told you. In trains. But for me, it's always just been ships and planes. And yes, I do have the OBX London City scenery, and we are going into that on this flight. Yannick, Bolzano, good idea actually, I'm going to have a look at. So, red thread, what is the yaw damper for? Now, that is a question that actually takes a little bit of time for flight students to learn. Basically, the yaw damper is preventing Dutch roll. Now, what is Dutch roll? Honestly, the best thing for you to do is just to Google it, because there will be much better explanations out there than what I can provide for. Basically, Dutch roll is a tendency of an aircraft to be going left and right, because no aircraft is built 100% perfectly. So, if you have a look at the aircraft from the front here, it looks symmetrical, but in real life it's not. There is always a very slight difference in it, because you just can't build a 100% perfect machine. And you see the nose of the airplane moving slightly left and right. And since we have swept wings, even though just slightly swept on this airplane, but they are swept a little bit, when one wing is going upwind, that also wants to roll the airplane. That causes additional induced drag, which then makes the wing go back again, and the other wing goes forward, causing induced drag again. And at a certain frequency, that can increase so much that the airplane can start getting out of control. And that's what the yaw damper is for. The yaw damper knows that natural frequency, and it is going to apply rudder automatically to protect that phenomenon from appearing. Basically, it can happen as soon as the speed exceeds around 200 knots true airspeed, which is the moment where the compressibility of the air starts playing a role. And compressibility of the air, basically, if you imagine having a bottle full of air, and now you squeeze that bottle together while it's still being closed on top, you can squeeze it a little bit, so you are compressing that air. And the same happens in front of an aircraft on the leading edges when you are flying faster than approximately 200 knots true airspeed. And then Dutch roll can happen, and the yaw damper is there to prevent that from happening. Additionally, on many new aircraft, the yaw damper also has a built-in adverse yaw compensator. Adverse yaw happens when you apply aileron input, and the nose initially is going into the opposite direction. If you're flying a small aircraft like a glider or like a Cessna, then that is a very apparent effect. And in those aircraft you need to apply some rudder in order to compensate for that effect. And in modern aircraft the yaw damper also has that included as well, so that it's automatically applying that rudder input for you. That's basically what the yaw damper is for. MFS pilot, for which airline am I flying and what aircraft type? I'm flying the 737 next generation, and unfortunately I cannot say which airline I fly for, because my airline has a very strict social media policy, and they do not see us pilots as their spokespersons, and therefore we are not meant to say where we operate or where we fly for. Okay, so the way it looks right now, we have a Tham's approach online, which is the controller that's actually covering London City, so that's very good. I'm gonna drop him a quick message if he plans to stay online for our arrival.
Because 2718 descending flight level 130.
Confirm 130 to reach an Elder.
Nikolai, did I ever think about the Discord server or Facebook group? Yeah, I did think about it. I just really have to work on my Discord skills for a little bit, but it's something I'm working on. Right, perfect. Just got confirmation from the controller that he's actually going to be online for our arrival. So we are definitely going to have ATC for our arrival into London City. Hans van Gulden, are you Dutch? Goedenavond. Well, that's probably all my Dutch. Dankjewel. Did I try the HondaJet in virtual reality? If so, what was it like? Yes, I did try it, and it was an amazing experience. The cockpit of the HondaJet works really nice in VR. All that I have to still work on a little bit is the clarity of the screens, but that's a general issue on my side and nothing HondaJet specific. So I did try it in VR and it was a real joy to fly, even though I only did some traffic patterns with it so far. Nikolai saying so many ads on YouTube. Yeah, unfortunately, because ads really are the main source of income of this channel. You see, I'm investing a great lot of time, so those ads actually earn me a little pocket money next to my main job. Of course, it's not a lot compared to what you earn as an airline pilot, but it's a little pocket money, you know. And if that serves to maybe pay for dinner with my girlfriend every now and then that's exactly the financial aspect of why I'm doing this. However, let's put it that way. If you were to compare the time invested into a channel like this with the money you're earning from the ads, then most definitely it's not worth it by that point. So you're not really earning a lot from YouTube, at least not with the amount of views that I'm getting at the moment. But yeah, exactly as Red Thread said, if you want to get rid of the ads, you can always buy YouTube Premium, then you are not going to get any of those. And Andrew, which virtual reality headset did I get? I got the HP Reverb G2. That looked to be the best one in terms of resolution, which to my knowledge was the main thing to consider when considering virtual reality. And it's absolutely proven correctly. Alright, let's start looking into a little the approach already. Why is this show on chart function not working today? Oh well, I don't know. So let's see, we're going to do the Summermont Charlie arrival. Here it is. And that's going to be for the runway 27 most likely. There is actually an HOTAS online. So, London City Information Charlie at time 1820, runway in use 09. Okay, that makes our way in quite a bit quicker. So, if it's the 09, then we're going all the way towards Jacko. So, procedures approach ILS 9 from Jacko, load. Yeah. And of course, the moment you load something in the route, flight plan screws up, but that's pretty much known. So direct to Kaget again, and back into FMS. So Andrew, have I enjoyed the time I'm putting into my channel, and was it a surprise that my channel has taken off like it has? Oh yes, for both cases. Initially I thought that I would just make a couple of videos and that would provide a basis for the new Microsoft guys joining the PMDG family to fly the 737. But the amount of views I've gotten has totally blown me away. And it actually turned out... Yeah, that's the anti-icing operator. It actually turned out that flying on those videos and doing those videos for you. That's why I kept doing it. And I would never ever have expected this to become such a big channel. I would never have expected it to do that. And actually right now I'm probably investing more time into it than I should. But eventually at one point my girlfriend is going to drag me away from the computer, and then the amount of videos is going to get a little less. But until that happens, I am quite happy doing this. It's a great lot of fun. And it's also a great lot of fun just sharing the knowledge that I gathered. Because I started out as a flight simmer just like you guys are. And I've slowly made my way up through the licenses. But I've been doing this for a long, long time. And I was just wishing for videos like the ones I'm producing right now, because that would have greatly helped me, myself, in my earlier flight simulator career. So that's also part of the reasons I'm doing this, because I would have loved to have these kind of videos myself. Alright, so...
going to 135.1350, thank you.
Let's actually start dealing a little bit with the approach right now. So, arrival charts, Summermont Charlie. Do we have any expected flight levels here? It is 220 by Inlet or Momic, 90 by Jacko. Okay, let's see if we have any of those. They're coming in via Logan. And for Logan there is nothing in here. Okay, so the first restriction we have is Jacko at 9,000. And then from there we join the ILS approach runway 09. That's probably going to be radar vectored. Just trying to see if there is any transition chart in here. There isn't. So we'll actually have to go with this, and we will have to take radar vectors after Jacko. Mikolai, why do mosquitoes exist? Well, I guess not everything in life can be a joy, and you know, there is a saying that every human needs to apply some violence at some time, so I guess evolution just gave us mosquitoes to apply violence on, to crush them, to kill them, and to do everything with the mosquitoes that you would never ever do with a decent being, regardless whether it's an animal or a human. So that's what you have mosquitoes for. Alright, so quick approach briefing then. Arrival is going to be the Summon 1 Charlie arrival into London City. I've already got the ATIS, runway 09 is active. The arrival is going Summum, Logan, Jacko, and a Jacko is maximum of 210 knots and add flight level 90. So in here we have Logan. Sorry, in here we have Summum, Logan, and then Jacko. And thereafter it's going to be radar vectors. Now, that seems to be quite a lengthy way in. 210 knots, flight level 90, and then at least 50 miles to go. That's going to take some time. But they probably want to get rid of us for all the other traffic going into Stansted, Luton, Heathrow, and Big and Gatwick, or Farnborough for the matter of that. So that's why they probably want to have us that low on the arrival into here. So, ILS approach for runway 09, that is on a chart over here, 40-1. For aircraft categories A, B and C only, we're a category B aircraft, so that's not a problem for us. Frequency is 111.15. Active on both sides, final approach course is 272. And let's see what we are gonna do then. The approach starts at 5 miles, 3,000 feet. It is a 5.5 degree glide slope, and we estimate to fly anywhere between 120, so that's about 1,200 feet per minute rate of descent on the final approach that we have to expect. But actually I'm on the wrong chart. Well, at least I notice it. Funnily enough, it's the same ILS frequency for both. So this one actually starts at 3.4 miles and 2,400 feet. 5.5 degrees is still current, so more than 1,000 feet a minute rate of descent is expected on the final, going down to a minimum of 431 feet. The missed approach, in case we have to, is taken straight at 5 dm from the ILS to 2,000 feet and then turn left to London City locator or as directed. So 2,000 feet only, that brings us the threat of the early descent probably causing us, of the early missed level off in the missed approach. So that means that we'll have to be very careful on the go around that we don't overshoot the missed approach altitude. Right guys, thanks for letting me know about the microphone issues. I can just try one thing about it, that is plug in the headset into the power supply. Maybe that helps, but if that doesn't help, then I wouldn't know what might help either. Just give me a second. Alright, the headset is plugged in now. I hope that it's going to work this time. And Nikolai, the charts are the Navigraph charts, so you need to have a Navigraph subscription to use those. My favorite dish. Now that's a good one. Hard to say, actually. There is so many good stuff. There is so many good dishes. Oh boy, I can't tell you one, because it would be unfair for all the others. Right, we're approaching our top of descent, so let's put the altitude down to 9,000 feet. And VNAV is armed. Alright, and down we go. Nikolai, what exactly do you mean? How about using real time? So let's start with our descent checklist. Well, the cruise thing will skip. So descent checklist, landing field elevation. Yeah, well, can't set it in this aircraft. Engine anti-ice is off, stays off. Altimeters remain on standard for now. Descent checklist complete. Andrew, what's my favorite airport to fly into in real life and in the simulator? In real life? Good question. I like anything on the Canary Islands, mostly because you can do visual approaches over there without much hassle. And in the simulator... Good question. There are so many great airports in the simulator that I enjoy. I would say Madeira is always among my favorites, but there are definitely some others as well. Okay, approach wants to talk to us, 132.7. So, prepare for it. Now comes the United Kingdom initial call. Thumbs approach, good evening, Delta India Tango in your mic. Passing flight level 178, descending flight level 90 over at Summum on the Summum 1 Charlie arrival. We have information Charlie and we are a HondaJet.
The Off-Leg 1 Juliet transition for
Delta India Tango in your mic, descend flight level 90, Off-Leg 1 Juliet transition runway 09. And confirm you need us to cross Jacko at level 90?
Yes.
Roger. Okay, so Off-Leg 9 Juliet transition. Let's see if we can find that somewhere. Because I didn't see any... It is. Off-Leg 1 Juliet. Yeah, that's the big piece of peep that we have in our system. Let's quickly go over it to make sure that all the waypoints are correct. So, from Jacko, max 210, level 90, going towards Nomba, Babku, LC 21, 22, 23. The 23 actually has a 9,000 restriction on it. From there on, we're going towards Rafsa at 6,000. Left to Gagpi at 6,000 as well. Noise abatement doesn't matter, guys. LCE 07. No, AdPath, then LCE 07. That one's at 4,000. OSPAF max 210 at 3,000. LCS 01 at 3,000 with a max of 185. LCS 02 at 2,000. Then Todd B at 2,000. That's a little annoying that we have to insert all those restrictions manually, but I guess we'll have to live with it for now. Right, and from there we're going to join the final approach, which is basically what we have in here anyway. Alright, cool. That's this done. So I hope that we won't have to fly any of the point merge over here. So, Michael, the Garmin is the working title G3000. If you just Google working title G3000, then you are going to find it. You can also use it in the TBM 900 or in the citation longitude. In Mikolai, I'm definitely using the real time over here. You can see it down here, UTC time 1910, that's exactly what we have right now. And the worst airport in my opinion, well, there are many not good ones. But, where's the airplane going? Nope, don't do that. Don't do that, heading. Sometimes I gotta love this thing. That's the working title problem here. So, user towards Jacko, activate that lag, yes please. And back into nav mode. So, speed limit should be 210 over Jacko, let's ask ATC for a relief of that. Delta India Tango in your mic. Any speed restriction overhead, Jacko?
Delta India Mike, negative speed restriction.
Negative speed restriction, Delta in your mic. Alright, that's good. At least we can stay fast then. So yeah, honestly, worst airport in my opinion. I would say Rome Fiumicino, because you always get delays over there. First of all, you have a lot of taxi for literally no reason. Then, well, it's Italy, you know? They have that Italian spirit, which is very nice in certain points, but not when you actually want to get some work done on time. You always gather delays over there, and you get slots. And Freddy, good evening. I don't want to push ATC too much, but I really want to go direct to Rafsa now. But probably at Baku, I could imagine.
Delta India Mike, descend flight level 70.
Delta India Mike, descend flight level 70. Set, 70 checked. Vertical speed.
They got redirected 126, something 1825.
Gary direct now, 126, 825 from November, okay, thanks.
It's really nice to see all those wind farms here in the simulator. They are very, very prominent in real life when you fly over the English Channel. So, something very nice to actually see them in the simulator here as well. And of course, once I've been outside the simulator for just a couple of seconds, my speed has dropped 20 knots. I have to say though, maintaining airspeed is a lot easier in real life than it is in flight simulators. I don't quite know why, but it just is that way.
Delta India Mike, route direct Rafsa.
Delta India Mike, direct Rafsa. So that is Rafsa, direct 2. We have one to go. Freddy, you're most welcome with the FS Realistic Pro settings. I just saw that there was no profile available, so I thought, well, that can't go on. I gotta do one.
India Mike descent altitude 6,000 feet, QNH 10.
Delta India Mike descent 6,000 feet, 1017. Set 6,000 checked, set altimeter 1017. Should be 3004. Yep, roughly seems to be. Make it 3003. We've got to reach that our drafts are, so rate of descent a little bit quicker. Yeah, that looks better. So, looks like we're going cloud surfing a little bit. Temperature is 19 degrees, so there's no need for anti-ice. And we've got clearance from ATC to keep the speed up as well. This, by the way, is the little bit annoying part about flying to London City. You just have to be so low and slow so early. But the approach we're going to get is most definitely going to compensate for that. Delta India Mike descent 4,000 feet, QNH 1017. Alright, so down to 4,000, and sorry for the wind noise, guys. Told you I need my radiator a little bit here. Right, set. That's 4,000 checked. Vertical speed.
38 Kilo Charlie, crystal down. 38 Kilo Charlie, startup approved. Approved. 38 Kilo Charlie.
Right, so let's just hope that we'll be through the clouds early enough that we are actually going to be able to see something of the ground and of London City while we are approaching London City. So we are getting there, slowly but steadily. Andrew, do I ever find it difficult in real life when you are in the clouds and in turbulence to perform my duties? As a student pilot, you find it hard to struggle to do things effectively during turbulence, for example, talking to ATC. Honestly, no, not really. Flying in turbulence is really just flying. So it doesn't really make much of a difference. You gotta spend a little bit of your attention to watch the autopilot. Delta in the mic, descent altitude 3000 feet. So you've just got to watch the autopilot a little bit better. 3000 foot checked. And apart from that, it's really it. Stefan, how many scenery add-ons do I have by now? Too many. I honestly don't count them, but it's a lot. It's a lot. And Michael, I fully agree the autopilot is a little bit aggressive on the pitch. However, FS Realistic makes it look a bit worse than it actually is. So FS Realistic changes your viewpoint up and down a little bit while the autopilot is just doing some minor corrections. That makes it look a lot worse than what it actually is. So Red Thread is saying, if cloudy, do an ILS. Oh, honestly, not necessarily. You can also do non-precision approaches as long as the clouds are above the minimum. Do whichever approach there is available.
The 8 Kilo Charlie with is next. The Kilo Charlie taxi with a 1 also. There's on the point now. The 8 Kilo Charlie.
Ooh, that was an interesting pitching moment there. Now that we've just talked about it, yeah, that was definitely a bit aggressive just now. So let's see, temperature is 12 degrees, so that's all good. By the way, something we haven't looked at yet. We're landing at runway 09, so we've got to vacate the runway as early as possible, most likely via Foxtrot. And we'll go via Echo all the way, probably to the west apron. Yeah, GA apron is over here. So that's where we're going to go. Now, I want to see something of the city. Come on. Should be around about over downtown London right now. And I would love to see something of it. Can we see something from the outside? Not really. Right within the clouds. This is a lovely view. This is a lovely view. We hardly see anything. Well, doesn't matter.
So the 8 Kilo Charlie via our first level 73 for the degrees 1 to that's runway 09 clears for takeoff.
Runway 09 clears for takeoff, 8 Kilo Charlie.
Right, we'll rebeam the field and start reducing our airspeed.
Delta in the Yoke descent altitude 3000 feet via autopilot cleared, ILS approach runway 09.
Delta in the mic, just to confirm we are maintaining 3000 already. Did you mean to send 2,000 feet?
I believe that's what I said, unfortunately. Delta direct 2,000 feet via outside cleared ILS approach from 09.
No worries, descend 2,000 feet for outlet cleared ILS 09, Delta in your mic. Right, so down we go. We'll keep the speed at 185, which is the restriction at top B anyway. Then let's do the approach checklist. Seats and signs, adjusted and secure, passenger briefing complete, cabin signs on, avionics set, landing data. Yeah, that's a good point. So, speedbox, takeoff off, landing, get from sim on, 113. Right, so landing data set and confirmed, cast messages checked, approach briefing complete, and we're standing by for the flaps. Still don't quite see a lot. Alright, here we are. Finally. Well, that's an amazing view of London down there, isn't it? Have to go back into the flight deck now, though. Right, time to reduce our speed. So, flaps 1.
Kilo Charlie, thanks, climb now.
Approach checks, flaps, takeoff approach. That completes our approach checklist as well. Maintain 150 knots in the base here. Then in 2.5 miles we'll intercept the final approach. What is it doing now? I don't want to know. Autopilot off. Normally it should have set our ILS here.
Make wind is 340 degrees at 12 knots from a 0 knots.
Delta India Mike from 09 at Clitland. So ILS, why did you go? 11115. Yeah, that's it. That's better. Approach mode armed. Localized capture, glide slope capture. That comes. Right, gear down. Right, 2,000 feet is set for the missed approach. Speed can go down to 113 for our final. Flaps landing. Right, there's the approach lights in sight. Before landing checklist. Landing gear. Down, speed brakes, retracted, flaps, landing, airspeed. Is at VREF and yaw damper autopilot disengaged. Quite some crosswind over here. here we go. Come on. Here we are.
That
Whoa.
landing was good.
No, can't make that exit. We'll have to go off at the end. So that's definitely quite a short runway over here. But here we go. Delta in your mic, our scenery is not quite up to date yet. Request backtrack.
Delta in your mic, no problem. Via Kilo into backtrack, runway 27, vacate via Echo.
Delta in your mic, backtrack runway 27, vacate via Echo. In real life, they have built a new taxiway that's actually parallel to the runway now, going all the way to the apron. But unfortunately not in the simulator quite yet. So vacate via Echo, that is the first taxiway we have here. So we don't care about that landing checklist. After landing, signs on, anti-ice off, speed brake retracted, flaps up, trim, set in the green band. After landing checklist complete. So here comes Echo. So, are we gonna get taxi clearance or not? Delta in your mic, runway vacated.
Delta India mic, taxi stand for the Tango.
Delta in your mic, stand 4 via Tango.
Kids Director, good evening. Speedbird 22 Zulu on stand 14, requesting IFR clearance to Hamburg, with information Delta on board.
So 220 Clacton 1 Hotel Room 09 Squawk 03.
Right, so stand 4 is in front of the main apron. So let's go there.
0317 Squawk Speedbird 220.
It's the Clacton 1 Hotel departure for room 09.
Clacton 1 Hotel departure, runway 09, Speedbird 220.
Correct.
Okay, stand 4, here we are.
Kilo Charlie.
Oversteered a little, happens.
8 Kilo Charlie question bridge.
Do you want us to level off at 170?
No, I sent it to Unicom a while ago, so Unicom now 122.8.
Unicom 122.8 is just 8 Kilo Charlie.
Alright, here we are. Brake set, let's do the shutdown checklist. Parking brake set, wheel chocks installed, engine anti-ice. Off, external power, off, thrust levers, cut off. Cabin signs. Off, oxygen, pull off, parking brake. Released, and the battery can go off as well. Delta and your mic, thanks for controlling. See you next time. Right, that's the shutdown checklist complete. So, originally I had planned to do the return flight as well, but I'm afraid that some stuff has popped up that I needed to sort out now. So I have to apologize, guys, but this is gonna be it for today's stream. Looking forward to see you all on the next one, and